What's happening? This is your girl Megan. Welcome back to my channel if you're already a subscriber. And if this is your first time joining me on today, go ahead, hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you'll be alerted whenever I make a new post. So, with that being said, excuse my voice, y'all. I have a little head cold, and I know I probably sound like Macy Gray right now, but I just need y'all to hold it down for me because I'm just going to go ahead and just march on through. We're going to get through this. So, tonight I wanted to do a reading on Miss Wendy. Auntie Wendy. I love Wendy Williams, and I honestly don't understand why she gets such a bad rap, given that we live in the age of blogs, gossip blogging. You know, the same people who visit the Shade Room will turn around and hate Wendy Williams because she's, I don't know, spills tea, I guess, tells people's business. But then y'all sit around and talk about celebrities on the internet all day, every day for free. She just gets paid to do it on a larger scale. Now, when it comes to back in the 90s and the 80s, back when she first started her career in radio, I could understand why people were kind of resistant to that just because it was uncharted territory. But come on now, it's 2019. Everybody's telling everybody's business. We live in a social media or like a pop culture celebrity type of culture. So like, why, whatever. Anywho, she's been in the news lately because there's been some shit going on with her husband. And it's actually, I've heard this a couple of months back. So the word on the street was her husband, Big Kev, had a girlfriend or a fiance, some side little tender that he was seeing, and he ended up moving in or buying a house for the lady very close to where he and Wendy live, like I think a block away from their home. So now the reports have surfaced that this side piece is allegedly pregnant, and the whole time this is happening, Wendy has just kind of been mysteriously just acting funny. You know, people have noticed her slurring her words during the show, falling out, having different little random health crises, and a lot of people are speculating that her health is being impacted by said cheating allegation or whatever it is that's going on in her home between she and Big Kev. I mean, obviously. And, you know, people are coming down hard on Wendy because she typically is known for slinging tea, but she refuses to address the allegations, or people feel like she's not really being honest, should I say that, or transparent about the allegations taking place between she and her husband. So there's that. And in the past, I never really got good vibes from her husband, Kevin. They went on the Howard Stern show together back in the early thousands. This was back when Wendy was still on radio, and he was talking about cheating on her. And Wendy was basically making up excuses for why he cheated on her and was like, well, I was pregnant with little Kev. And I'm like, bitch, are you like trying to get us to feel sorry for the fact that this man cheated on you? But whatever. So I just never really got good vibes from him. Something about the dynamic of their relationship seemed kind of a little, it was suspect. So fast forward to the rumors that are circulating through the headlines today. I'm just like, there's got to be something to this. And it prompted me to take a look at Wendy's natal chart. And I found some really interesting shit, y'all. So without further ado, here we go. So Miss Wendy Williams was born in New Jersey on July the 18th, 1964. Now, her sun is in the 26th degree of Cancer, which breaks down to the number 8. And it basically just deals with hard work. It's a very Saturn-based energy. So hard work, diligence, determination, structure, discipline. And this points towards Wendy really just being a powerhouse in her respected career field. She's had a long-standing career from the 80s. She started off in radio, then she transitioned to her own television show, And she's done just about everything there is to do in between. She wrote a book. She's had television appearances or movie appearances. So she's, regardless as to how you feel about her as a person or what she does for a living, you can't knock the hustle. And she's very, very hardworking. Her moon is in the 25th degree of Scorpio, and it sits in her 10th house of career and public affairs. And this points towards her being famous, living life in the public eye with no shortage of public scandal and controversy. But this placement also points towards Wendy being very powerful, affluent, and prominent in this lifetime, and susceptible to a lot of highs and lows as far as her reputation is concerned, obviously. And I also noticed that her her Juno, her asteroid Juno, is in this house as well. And your Juno basically deals with your relationships, either like the issues that you encounter in relationships or the reoccurring theme of your relationships. Let's put it like that. And with her Juno in the 10th house in the sign of Scorpio, really points towards somebody who marries for convenience or to get ahead. This could also be somebody who's married to their career. And that can be interpreted two different ways. First way, this could be Wendy actually feeling more romantically tied to her career than her husband. And I mean, you can make an argument for that because she has pretty strong Capricornian energy in her chart, as well as her south node in the sign of Capricorn. So you can make the argument of her being very much like career focused type of woman over family. Or you can interpret this, which was kind of what I'm leaning towards, as her husband being an opportunist or her attracting men who look to have something to gain from her. Because if I'm not mistaken, her husband, Kev, is her manager, I think. I don't know if it's always been that way, but I know for a very long time, he's had his hands directly in the pot as far as her career is concerned. And this makes it even more absurd that he's gallivanting around the city with a side piece. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the money that he's using to pay for that relationship and to support that woman directly comes from Wendy's success, point blank, period. And in the grand scheme of things, he has more to gain by attaching his wagon to hers than she does his. So this really, I mean, puts the nail in the coffin, if you ask me. And then the sign Scorpio is very secretive as well. So this could symbolize a partner or being a part of a relationship that has a lot of secrets. So her ascendant is in the 18th degree of Aquarius. I forgot to mention I did find a birth time for her as 9:30 p.m. to be exact. And it seems to check out because I checked a couple of sites. So it seems pretty legit and we're just going to go with that. So anywho, her ascendant is in the 18th degree of Aquarius. And it's making a square to her asteroid Juno. Now, this points towards there being issues with projecting your marriage life or your relationship into your persona. So there's this kind of disconnect between what's going on behind closed doors versus what she openly displays to the public. This could also be either Wendy or Kevin, or maybe both of them, taking a kind of emotionally detached disposition towards their marriage. And oftentimes this results in very unconventional style marriages. And I mean, I don't know. I heard about them doing threesomes. I'm actually thinking that she knows about the side chick. I think she's always known about the side chick. I think that maybe now the game might be shaking up a little bit because the chick is pregnant. But, you know, word on the street is Wendy is no stranger to alternative type of situations when it comes to her relationship. Now, Wendy's Chiron is in her second house of Pisces and is sitting at that 18th degree. And it's making a square to her Venus and her Mars in her fifth house. And her Venus and her Mars are in the sign of Gemini, by the way. So this aspect right here points towards there being deceit in the marriage. It points towards her having issues, possibly even standing up for herself within the relationship, and even worse, being swindled and finessed out her money. Because there goes that 18th degree again, which deals with materialism. So it could deal with Kevin getting with Wendy solely for monetary gain. It can deal with him being deceitful. It can deal with Wendy herself actually deceiving the public about her marriage. This could also point towards Lil Kev following suit due to the example set by his father and just straight up disrespecting Wendy, not really having a lot of respect for her. And I don't know if y'all seen it, but I saw the episode of the Wendy Williams show where she was on stage crying, talking about her son doesn't like her. I seen it. I seen it with my own eyes. And I think there's more to that than she likes to lead on. You know what I'm saying? And this aspect points towards that because fifth house represents your children as well. So I would not be surprised if Lil Kev probably sees the way his father treats his mother and is just like, yeah, whatever the fuck, which is common with a lot of sons. They just take the example set by their fathers. So that's definitely unfortunate. This placement can also indicate Wendy having wounded values, wounded self-worth, self-esteem, feeling of being unwanted. This is also a telltale kind of placement for people who have body dysmorphic disorder. And we all know Miss Wendy is not a stranger to the plastic surgery, okay? And this basically just breeds about somebody who has a lot of deep insecurities. Now, check this out, y'all. Her Mercury is square to her Neptune, which points towards her inclination to lie, to deceive, to make things seem one way when they're really another, to project. Like her hopping on her show, waving her ring, talking about everything's good in Huntersville. Bitch, no the fuck it's not. Because if it was, your ass wouldn't be dropping on stage, slurring your speech and shit, talking about you got heat stroke. No. Heat strokes don't do that. Now, her 7th house Mercury is making a square to both her Neptune and Juno. And this just basically reinforces deception, both inside of the marriage and out to the public, putting on fronts, putting on airs. It could point towards even difficulties with communicating with one another. It deals with manipulative behavior. So there could be some major, and I think Wendy is the one being manipulated, if you just want to be honest. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, her Mars and Venus are in quincunx to her asteroid Juno. And this reinforces her attracting partners that don't really want relationships. Or it could perhaps be Wendy that doesn't really want a relationship, but she decides to stay anyway. And like I said, out of that whole convenience, that unconventional type of marriage, just allows things to go the way they're going because she feels like, it's going to be good for business or it's going to lead to the greater good in the long run. But it could go either way. This aspect could point towards Kev being very controlling and manipulative, even pulling the strings when it comes to her career, like behind the scenes, as her Juno is sitting in her 10th house of career. This could deal with her being bullied in her own relationship, as well as associating love with pain, that bottom bitch mentality. And I mean, at the end of the day, that really all boils down to lack of self-love, reinforcing that low self-esteem. And side note, speaking of low self-esteem, I know that people often give Wendy a hard time about her physical appearance as well. We all know that, what do they say? She's shaped like a upside down. Oh no, she's shaped like the letter P. That's the running joke, right? Because she's really heavy at the top and then has literally no ass and just straight leg. And we can laugh about it, we can joke about it, but at the end of the day, looking at Wendy's chart, you can tell that she really does have a deeply ingrained sense of just a lack of self-love, a really deeply ingrained sense of insecurity that radiates from the inside out. And although she does a pretty good job of not responding to people in the press or, just coming to work, doing her job, dishing the hot topics and leaving, you can tell that she feels very insecure and unattractive and unlovable. And if you want to be honest, those are all of the ingredients and all of the makings of a woman dealing with a nigga that she ain't really got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Because there's that who else is going to love me like this type of mentality that comes to play. Or will I find somebody who is willing to accept me and deal with A, B, C, and D? And I think that is very much a part of the reason why she continues to stay with Kevin, amongst other reasons. There's still something worth thinking about. Her Juno is conjoined to her Neptune, and once again, this reiterates that theme of things not being all they crack up to be in her marriage, point blank, period. Also, she has her Pluto in her 8th house of Virgo, and given that its chart ruler is sitting in her 10th house, this could point towards Kevin being extremely money hungry, power hungry, and 8th house also deals with legal battles as well. So in the event that there is a divorce, this really just reinforces the fact that things could get really ugly. Like, Kevin could definitely be the type of person who comes for Wendy's neck and wants it all. So, yep, no doubt in my mind, Miss Wendy is being finessed big time. So I hope she finds the wherewithal, the strength, and the sanity to really see herself through this trying time. My heart goes out to her because that nigga's not even cute. So it's like, and even if he was, it's still a fucked up situation. I just really hope she gets through this because I love my auntie Wendy. So with that being said, this concludes my reading for Miss Wendy Williams. Be sure to drop down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know any suggestions that you may have for celebrity readings. And as always, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until next time, I holla.